Bam. My peoples. My peoples. Welcome to Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. I'm your host, JSmiff, and this is a special episode for you, my peoples. We got a special guest that's going to be joining us today. But let me say no more and make this happen for you guys. Salute, ladies
There you
and
go.
gentlemen. Right now, you're looking at the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Rick Glazer.
How are you, Jay? Hello, everybody, and good morning, wherever you may be.
Good morning, Rick. Good morning, man. This is going to be a very, I think, interesting episode. Rick, you're someone who, in the world of boxing, for whatever reason, people either love you or they hate you. There is no in between. So
Well, my wife has a great line. My wife says either people want to kiss me at both cheeks or put two behind my ear.
so, you know, uh, anything that you say, people jump on it right away. Whether it's you're making a prediction, whether you're saying anything about a fighter, anything you say can go viral. And lately, there's some things that you said that have gone viral. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna allow a few more people to get in here so they can enjoy the show. But Rick, what do you think? What do you think about the way the fans are reacting with the whole situation that's going on with Tank Davis?
Well, I think that what I said was absolute fact. Um, the reason why he's doing what he's doing he's retiring without announcing it is because of the fact that the WBA ordered the rematch between him and Lamont Roach after their fight back in March. Since then, because of all the controversy, and he doesn't want to fight Roach. Roach has his number. He knows it. He knows he was in a real tough fight. He knows he was on the deck. Um, what else is there to say? Um, he just doesn't want to fight Roach is one of the reasons. He's got a few dollars presently, and he's saying, fuck everybody. I'm not fighting Roach. He was supposed to fight Roach August 16th. He's not fighting. Why is he not fighting? Because he doesn't want to fight Roach. He outpriced himself with PBC. They never had a signed contract because he didn't want to fight Roach. And since he was ordered for the rematch, he's going to sit out now, and he's going to sit out until he needs money again. Okay. And then will the Roach rematch kick in at that point? Let's see, maybe Roach is smart enough to move on. Who knows? Don't know. But for now, he's retired. He will run out of money eventually, and he will fight again. But people misunderstood what I said. If he it clearly says he's retired until he runs low on money. And he's retired for multiple reasons. Doesn't like the business of boxing. He's tired of it because they ordered boxing, quote, the business ordered the rematch. And he doesn't want to be told what to do. He doesn't fight anybody. Look who he's fought in. The toughest guy he fought was Ryan Garcia until Lamont Roach came along. He doesn't fight anybody. Everybody's handpicked. And he hasn't looked to unify world titles. He's not acting like a fighter.
Okay. Well, I will point something out, Rick. For whatever reason, this is something that I've never seen before, but I'm seeing it now, where fans have been convinced to separate between legacy and money. So before, as you know, if we think about fighters like Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Joe Frazier, all these fighters, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Sugar Ray Leonard, all these fighters
And
who
the
were the
reason why, I'll interrupt you. Okay, excuse me. The reason why it's happening is because in prior generations, people fought for money The same fighters fought for money. The same fighters fought for legacy. Completely intertwined. Today, it's not intertwined. A guy like Tank has made a lot of money despite not fighting anybody, and that's just the way it's worked. And a lot of fighters are trying that routine. Very few can pull it off. Terrence Crawford, he's the opposite. He wants to fight the best people that he can possibly fight. That's who he wants to fight. People told him not to fight Madroff. That's a tough fight style wise. He's a big, strong guy. He was a great world champion amateur. Champion, big, strong guy, herky jerky. And those kind of guys are very difficult to fight. Why? Because you can't prepare for them because you can't get sparring partners that spar like that. They're not. He has a unique style all his own. That Madridov. But what did Crawford do? Went out and fought Madridov, and he became WBA junior middleweight champ. Won a title, legitimate world title in another weight class, and now he's going up to super middleweight. I just wrote yesterday on Twitter. Okay, Bud Crawford's not doing this for the bag. He's doing this for legacy. He's about legacy. There are fighters that are still about legacy. Okay. You know,
Rick, I gotta ask you, right? Should Crawford, we know he's gonna be the underdog, moving up two divisions and all that good stuff. Should he pull off this win? Where would you say this win is gonna rank in the history books, taking into account multiple divisions,
he
undisputed?
if he retires after the fight undefeated, okay, or they do a rematch and he retires undefeated. Let's just say wins this and then retires undefeated. He'll go down as one of the greatest fighters of all time. But better than Floyd Mayweather because of being undisputed in three weight classes. If he wins this fight now, um, Mayweather was never undisputed in any weight class. He picked and chose carefully. Remember, people forget this. Okay, Floyd was not a good lightweight. Floyd was in tough fights with Jose Luis Castillo. Okay, two fights with Jose Luis Castillo. One of them he arguably lost that they gave to Mayweather, and he fought Victoriano Sosa, and Sosa won rounds from him. And Sosa was he a great fighter? No, he was a good, solid, rugged guy from the Dominican, but he won rounds from Floyd. Now he lost a decision, but that was a fight. Floyd was not a good lightweight. Okay, the other guy whose legacy is built on toughness is Arturo Gatti. He never won a fight at lightweight. He was 0-3. Lightweight's a tough one. When you're going through weight classes, lightweight is a very tough weight class for a lot of fighters over the years. If they go from junior featherweight to featherweight I'm sorry, junior featherweight to lightweight. I'm sorry, junior lightweight to lightweight, okay, and then onward to 140. 35's been a rough stop for about a half a dozen fighters over the years that are considered great fighters, and Floyd's one of them. And Arturo Gatti doesn't have the greatness legacy, even though he's a Hall of Famer. He lost a lot of fights, but never won a fight as a lightweight. And Floyd had difficulty as a lightweight. So there you go.
And honestly, I never realized that Arturo Gatti had such a bad run in that division.
Yeah, he was 0-3. Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably couldn't adjust to the speed on there.
I don't know what the exact reason was, but he was 0-3. So you can look at and then he went on to win he won a 130-pound world title, was 0-3 at 130, okay, at 135, I'm sorry. And then he went up to 140, won a world title. So, but
Wow.
0-3, he lost to Manfredo twice and the kid from Philadelphia twice. whatever his name was. Can't remember.
Now,
Whatever.
now, Rick, let me bring you back to Tank real quick because he posted. He said,
Who?
"People, Tank Davis." He posted and said people are capping, and in reality, he was talking about you because he was talking about what you reported, and he said they're
Right.
capping, and I'm gonna fight either Manny Pacquiao or move up to 140. Is there a
You know,
possibility that he gets that
right,
fight
but
with Pacquiao or moves
but
up?
that's it. Manny Pacquiao's a cherry pick. There you go. So it will he come out and fight Manny Pacquiao at a higher weight? Yeah, because now he can avoid fighting Lamont Roach at 135. So
but
my point's well taken.
okay, but if he doesn't get the opportunity to fight Pac-Man, because I don't know, I just have a feeling that Manny Pacquiao is gonna be wise
Manny
enough to fight
Pacquiao
somebody
shouldn't
that
have
young.
fought the other day, and he shouldn't be fighting again. He was horrible.
Exactly. I'm okay with Manny and Floyd because they're around the same age. There's not gonna be no damage in that fight. Nobody's gonna hurt each other. But for him fighting a young fighter, I don't like it at all. Do you think
Manny and Floyd shouldn't be fighting. Just a money grab.
it'll be a money grab? They'll make a nice amount of money, but you know how it goes. Do you think is there a possibility that Tank Davis can shift course, right? Let's say he's feeling the pressure from the fans, tired of the opponents that he's facing. Is there a possibility that at 140 he actually shoots for the big guns?
No,
Damn, Rick, you're gonna break my heart. You're gonna break my heart like this, man, at six in
not
the
the real
morning.
140 pounders. No.
You're gonna
Nope.
break my heart like this at 6 in the morning, Rick.
Well, you can call back later today. I can break it again for you.
um, I just want to say, man, I feel like you're right, but I'm hoping. I still have that hope that maybe, he's gonna feel that pressure and say, "I'm gonna prove everybody wrong, and I'm gonna fight the big guns."
Not happening.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. Rick, some of the.
He won't fight Lamont Roach, moving up from 30 to 35, still WBA junior lightweight champ, and he won't fight a rematch with him. You think he's going to fight the big guns at 140? Come on, please.
I mean, it is least likely, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I want. Okay, how about this? Will we ever see Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson share the ring?
I don't see it.
He won't do it.
I just don't see
Even
it.
okay. How about if His Excellency Turkey allows she offer him a shitload of money?
Well, I don't know because you don't know a guy's state of mind when he opens up a bag that could open up a bag that big, but reality says he's not going to fight him. Now, like I said, if he got offered $50 million, like legacy money, he could last 3 generations of his family if he didn't blow it, didn't if he invested it properly. That's a different issue. I don't know, but he for anything reasonable, and reasonable will be the $15 million range. I he's not fighting. He's not fighting Shakur. No,
Okay. Now,
Shakur. By the way, Shakur would play with him. He would make Tank look like he never had gloves on before.
There you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it from Rick Glazer. I've been trying to tell you, Shakur Stevenson will play with Tank Davis. Rick, I've been trying to tell the people. They don't want to listen.
Well, the one thing about this show, it's not scripted. I don't didn't know what the questions were before the show started. I didn't know what the format was. You just got a hold of me and said, "Do you want to do this?" And I said, "Yes." So here I am. I'd like to take the time to explain to people what I do in boxing because a lot of people don't understand what I do. Some people think I'm a journalist. People think I'm a manager. They don't understand what I do.
Okay, let
My
me get
bit.
my receipt real quick. Hold on 1 second before you start explaining, because I'm getting my receipt. This needs to be on video to make sure People hear it from the horse's mouth. Whenever you're ready, give it to them, Rick.
I run a business called glazerboxing.com. It was formed in 1991. Was I'll be observing 35 years in professional boxing come January 1st. What glazerboxing.com does is we are a 24/7, 365 worldwide provider of quality supplemental services to the boxing business. Okay. And what it is that I broker deals for promoters. Okay. I represent, I, I advise TV networks. I advise streaming services. I advise managers. I advise promoters. I advise attorneys, casinos, and investors, managers, investors, on everything about the business and the sport of professional boxing. I also solve problems, resolve problems. I do arbitration and mediation work to prevent lawsuits or once lawsuits get started to help settle them. Also been an expert witness in 39 professional boxing cases. Presently, I'm an expert witness in 2 cases, presently as we speak. And as a general rule, I provide services to people literally 24/7, 365. I sleep less than anybody you know. I finish my business day where I don't make any phone calls after 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern until 4 o'clock in the morning. And those 3 hours I attempt to sleep. Now, if somebody calls me, I answer the phone. I just don't start any phone calls then, but I will answer the phone. I'm literally 24/7, 365. And I love the role I I have in boxing. I cherish it a lot. I'm very protective of what I do.
How do people
And
reach you if they want to acquire your services?
I have a web on my website, glazerboxing.com is my cell phone number and my email address. And I'm literally 24/7, 365, literally. So I'm up now. It's just, I'm a beast. So it's what I do. I'm 67 years old now, and I'm never going to retire. I'm going to die before I retire.
Now, I have to say, Rick, you've been in the business for a very, very long time, and you engage the fans. There's people who are operating at your level who totally ignore the fans, but you engage, whether it's on Twitter or on social
I'll
media.
tell you why I engage, because to me, boxing fans are not fans. The NFL has fans. Boxing has boxing enthusiasts, and here's why: because boxing you pay to watch. You're buying pay per view. You're buying a subscription app, and boxing enthusiasts deserve answers that they don't get from the media because they're paying for all their services, but they don't get told the facts. They don't get told the truth, and all they do is get buttered up fluff pieces from writers. Nobody talks the hard truth. I do, and I'm not afraid of anybody. I don't have to be. I have 59 clients, eh, and I cherish my clients. Clients, I appreciate them. Once in a while, I piss off a client because of what I say publicly, but that's the person I am, and that's why I do have 59 clients because of the fact that I do tell the truth all the time. I have a great family story to tell that relates to how much I tell the truth. One time years ago, like I don't know, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, about 6 years ago, we're sitting around having a family dinner. My mother, my four brothers and sisters, there's five of us total, my wife, all their all their husbands, all the bullshit. We're all sitting around family. There's probably 30 of us. My mother had made this vegetable lasagna with this cream sauce. And, we're Jewish, you know. Jewish people, lasagna, right? I mean, they don't make lasagna, and everybody's going around the table, and my mother says, "How's the lasagna?" Everybody says, "Oh, mom, it's great. Mom, it's great." And she gets to me. I didn't say anything. She got to me. She says, "Richard, you didn't say anything. How's the lasagna?" I says, "Mom, this shit's already killed two husbands, and it's not going to kill me. It's horrible.
Oh my
Everybody's
God.
lying to you. It's shit."
You're
My
ruthless.
mother says, "Did you have to tell the truth? You couldn't have lied?" I says, "Absolutely not." So there you go. I said, "This shit's killed two husbands already."
Honesty has been one of the main ingredient for the Rick Glazer recipe.
Suc- Success. It definitely has. It
Um,
definitely has.
Rick, can you give me? Let me get my receipt for that as well. Can you give me the play by play of how you think Terrence Buck Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez is going to play out on September 13th? From round one to however it plays out.
I don't want to because I would be giving away uh what Terrence will do. Okay, because
Okay.
I understand his state of mind. I understand Bomac. I know how they think, and I know what they're going to do to win. I just will say that you'll see Bud lose the first round and almost intentionally as he downloads all the info, he'll lose almost intentionally. It'll gather Canelo to have more confidence, and then Bud will dissect him from that point on. So he'll
Does
lose
it
the first round.
does it go the
Everyone will go back
distance?
to the corner. Everyone will go back and for see, Canelo's doing just fine. The game's over at that point. That will be the last round. He may win another round, but it's going to be pretty one sided.
Does it go the distance, or can we see a stoppage?
I I I think it goes the distance, but I also want to say something else. Going back to 2003, James Toney fought Evander Holyfield, and nobody thought that James Toney was going to win, let alone stop him. Nobody thought he'd stop him, and James Toney stopped him. And James Toney was the much smaller guy. He was had been a middleweight at one time, and sometimes the punches come in so fast and furious compared to what they used to, because Crawford's faster than the guys that Canelo's fought. Sometimes the volume will stop you. I don't think that happens here, but if it did, it wouldn't shock me.
Okay, okay. Me personally, let me tell you how I see this fight playing out, and then you can give
Hmm.
me your thoughts on this.
Hmm.
So we already know that Terence Crawford is going to be the fighter who has the height and reach advantages, right? And these are two physical advantages that we saw Dimitri Bivol utilize to take away Canelo's best weapons. You know, the body shot,
Hmm.
the inside work, and all that stuff. Okay,
Hmm.
so I feel like Crawford, being the type of fighter that he is, most likely study tape on Bivol's win, studied tape on Floyd's win, and already came to the conclusion, and also Eddie Landis Lara, who used that reach. And to this day, there's people who feel like Lara beat Canelo, right?
Hmm.
So I feel like Terence Crawford is going to establish that jab, that long reach, and give Canelo a hard time getting on the inside to have that explosive internal work that he had, that left to the body. Which, by
Hmm.
the way, when he faced Dimitri Bivol, he didn't land that very many body shots because of that. Bivol kept him at that outside of his range. So I think
I
I,
I
I think
agree.
I think Crawford is going to be successful at keeping him outside of Canelo's punching range. Canelo, obviously, he's a great fighter, pound for pound, Hall of Famer, all that good stuff. He's gonna find his way on the inside. He's gonna win rounds. I feel like between the third and maybe like the eighth or the ninth, it'll be kind of like a chess match where Crawford is edging it out because of that reach, but it is competitive. But the championship rounds, by that time, Crawford downloaded all the data he needs, and I feel like he's gonna even make it look easy for the championship rounds.
I think Crawford has the one thing that's going to really, and Mags use the word, fuck Canelo up, is that he has the ability because of his feet and how agile he is and how nimble he is on his feet. And I think he has the way of, with the longer jab and the longer arms, to offset all the body shots that Canelo's going to try to throw, because he can jump back, he can go to the side at an angle, and then he can catch Canelo coming in like he did with Spence. Same thing,
I
you
feel
know.
like he's gonna. I feel like he's gonna time him because of that, having the reach
I
advantage. Canelo has no choice but to try to go on the inside.
he Crawford I know Crawford's legacy rests on this fight, but whether he wins or loses this fight, let's just say he loses a highly competitive, close fight. Or, okay, let's say he does. He still is a fighter that would have fit in any era, including the Four Kings. He would have fit in with the Ray Leonards, Roberto Duran, Tommy Hearns. Wilfred Benitez is not considered one of the Four Kings, but he did come from that era. And the reason why he's not considered one of the Four Kings, he never fought Hagler. All the other guys fought each other. But if you do count Wilfredo Benitez as the fifth king, he would have fit in with all those guys. And how would he have done? I think he would have beaten Benitez. The night that Sugar Ray, that Roberto Durant lost to beat Sugar Ray, June of 1980, no fighter in history would have beaten Duran that night. No welterweight in history would have beaten Duran that particular night. I feel that if he fought Ray Leonard three times, okay, he would have won or lost two out of three. I don't know. I think other than that one night that Duran was the greatest lightweight of greatest welterweight of all time, that one greatest fighter of all time, that one night, he could have beaten Duran the rest of the nights. Tommy Hearns and him would have been an incredible fight and a huge chess match, because Tommy wouldn't have tried to unload on him, because Terrence is left-handed and has that great counter punching ability, and and Terrence Crawford doesn't walk into punches like Tommy was landing on many fighters. So I think he fits in any era, any great era of boxing. I just think he's such a special fighter in not only his preparation, his state of mind, okay, his killer instinct. Um, I think the rock group, the Killers, and their song "Mr. Brightside" fits him well. He's a killer, and he's got a bright side to him. I just think he's one of those very, very unique fighters. There's not just something about the guy. It's a combination of so many things: instincts, athletic ability, ring awareness, the fast hands, how fast he strikes, his punching power, a little bit of everything he's got. It's just a great combination.
But Rick,
You know?
with Terrence Crawford being such a special fighter, being so accomplished as we was talking about earlier, undisputed in
Mhm.
multiple division, why why do I get the sense that after he beat Errol Spence, he became a bigger star, but also more hated? Why is he more hated after
Well,
accomplishing such a feat?
because everybody, so many people had the confidence in Earl. Earl was an Olympian. Terrence wasn't. You know, he had more publicity behind him. Earl, more people believed in Earl. Okay, and I had told everybody. I wrote it time and time again. I says Terrence Crawford's going to beat Earl Spence, and it's going to be a lot easier than everybody could even imagine. Now,
You
I didn't realize it was going to be that bad. Holy
let,
shit!
let me
But
refresh your recollection.
Sure.
A week before the fight, you became the first person to join me on the show, and you predicted that Crawford was gonna knock him out.
Yep. It's true.
So you saw it coming, and I predicted it was going to happen between the eighth and the ninth, and that's exactly how it played out. In fact, in that interview, you told me I know that Crawford is going to stop him because Errol Spence he doesn't go to the gym between if he's not fighting, he's not preparing, he's partying, he's having a good time. Crawford is laser sharp focused.
Yeah,
Spence doesn't have a chance. You basically said.
the difference is in greatness. One of the things about great fighters, the greatest of fighters, is they go to the gym when they're not fighting to hone their skills and keep in shape. The problem is these guys don't. A lot of these guys, like Earl Spence, didn't go to the gym unless he had a signed contract. So at that point, you spend too much time um, trying to make weight and hone your body, okay, shape up your body, hone your body, and you don't spend enough time on your skill set. And a guy like Crawford is in shape all the time, so he is you working on his skill set, and it's two different types of training. And people don't understand that. One of the guys who did it the greatest was Bernard Hopkins. Look how long he lasted. He was always in great shape. He went to the gym to hone his skills, not to lose weight. These guys are going to the gym to lose weight. That and when you fight a real guy like a Terrence Crawford, that shows up. If you fight another fighter that's like you,
We
doesn't
get away.
show up.
Rick, we got a question from John Parham. Salute to John Parham, my brother. He's asking you, Bud versus Canelo, will this be one of the best fights of all time, in your opinion?
No, no, it will be one of the biggest fights. It'll be the biggest fight of the last 10 years, that's for sure. Since Mayweather Pacquiao. It won't be one of the best fights because I think that Crawford's going to dominate enough that you won't call it a great fight in the ring. You'll say that Crawford did a great job, but I don't think it's going to be a great action fight. I think it's going to be a good action fight, don't get me wrong, but not an all time great action fight. No. Most fights that are great action fights involve two fighters with a lot of offense and no defense. Mickey Ward or Arturo Gatti, typical example. Okay.
I will tell you
Bernard,
that I don't think
Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield, same thing. Not a lot of defense, all offense, same thing.
I'm gonna say that Crawford did it. I'm not gonna describe it as Crawford doing a great job. I think I'm gonna say he beat him up.
Right, right.
That's what I think is gonna happen. You mentioned Bernard Hopkins. He was able to win a title at, was it 45 or 44?
No. Bernard Hopkins won world titles at 60 and 75.
Jesus Christ, 60 and 75.
Yeah, he didn't win a world title at 68. Now, James
No, no, no,
Toney
no.
won.
I mean the age. I'm talking about the age.
Oh,
How
age,
old
yeah.
was he?
Yeah, 45 he was. Yep. And he
45.
fought till
Okay.
he was 51, I think. I think he won his last fight at age 49, I think. Something like that.
Okay.
It's just it's very, very, very rare what he did, but he was always in the gym and in shape. And Terrence Crawford is always in the gym and in shape. Now, is he over his fighting weight? Yeah, but it's easy to sweat off those because he's not that much over. The other guys, they fight at 135 and 140. They walk in the gym at 200 pounds, and they
Wow.
spend to get that 40 45 pounds off. They're 50 pounds, 60 pounds off. They got to kill themselves, so they're not honing their skills. They're working on losing weight. That's a problem. And getting out of shape is a problem in between fights, letting yourself go that far.
We know, Rick, that there's a rematch clause between Crawford and Canelo. So
No,
I'm expecting.
there is no rematch clause. That's
So His
false.
Excellency Turkey Alashi, that was not accurate because he floated around that there's a rematch clause.
There's no rematch clause, but there will be a rematch if Canelo wants a rematch if he gets beat with Crawford. There will, because Crawford can only make that kind of money fighting Canelo.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So there doesn't have to be a rematch clause.
But if there is or isn't, what do you think is next for Canelo Alvarez? Win, lose, or draw. What's next for him?
I think that if he loses decisively to Crawford, maybe there won't be a rematch, and he'll fight Shiraz, um, the guy who just knocked out Belenga.
Yeah, Hamza Shiraz.
That's what I would think. Right. That's what I would think.
And how about Terrence Crawford? Does he go down to 154 to defend? Does he?
No, 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 no. He gave up that title. He's moved up. If he wins, he'll fight, and he does. If he doesn't fight Canelo, I don't know who he would fight at that point. I really don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead, to be honest with you. I'd have to think about it.
Okay. And by the way, Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez are going back and forth on social media. What do you think? Is it possible that we get that fight?
That's a more probable fight than Tank Davis and Shakur. I think that fight could be made. I think Teofimo's got some balls, and I think that I know that Shakur would fancy that fight. I can see that fight happening.
Wow, man, I think that's a very interesting fight, taking into account the type of fighter that Teofimo Lopez is. I think him and Shakur Stevenson will match up well.
Uh, I think it will match up much better than Tank would. Yes, because he throws more punches. He's bigger, stronger, and he's better on his feet than Tank.
Talking about fighters having balls. What do you think about Devin Haney choosing to fight Brian Norman Jr. after
That's
two
not balls.
explosive wins? You don't
That's
think
not
so?
balls. That's what I call lacking awareness. I don't. I think Brian Norman is on top of his game. He's a young, strong buck, and he's going to come to take his head off. Haney's going to try to run around the ring like he did the last time with Jose Ramirez, pot shot him, move away, and win a fight that way. I think somewhere along the line he's going to get caught up with by Brian Norman, and Brian Norman can bang with both hands. He's a big, strong, young guy, and he's a full blown 147 pounder, where the other guy can still really make 140 pounds, I believe, if he really tried and had to. Um, I I would not have taken that fight if I was Haney.
Do you think Brian Norman Jr. stops him? That's a very popular prediction right now. We have
Um,
Jack
I
Harrow
I
saying
I
it happens in
believe
9.
I believe it can happen. Yes, I believe that Norman can stop him. I think he's a much stronger fighter physically. I think that I think Haney's going to rely on his foot speed and his experience, but I don't think that's going to be enough. I think this is a big, strong guy. I think he can punch, and I think Brian Norman is being underestimated.
Okay. What do you think about the situation with Jerome Booth and his negotiations didn't work out, or he turned down the offer with Teofimo Lopez, but then when Teofimo,
He's one.
yeah, go ahead.
He is one of he's undefeated. Don't get me wrong, but he's one of the worst handled fighters in I've seen in years. Horribly handled.
Can you elaborate on that?
Everything. I mean, he's saying he needs a bunch of tune up fights to move up to 54. What are you talking about? You can't make 47 comfortably anymore. That's why you're moving up. It's not like he did what Duran did. Duran did Roberto Duran went from 140, I'm sorry, 135 to right up to 147, and he had a couple of tune-up fights. Then he fought uh Carlos, I don't know, whatever his name escapes me, the former champ, Palomino. And then he fought Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah, he had a couple too because he moved up two full weight classes. But this guy's moving up. He's a huge 47. What do you mean he needs tune up fights? The fuck are you talking about? I mean, he's 28 years old. He's never fought anybody really challenging. Stanley Onis was there, hadn't fought for 2.5 years, was looking for a payday. Come on. I mean, got it. I mean, come
Okay.
on.
Let me check in with the boxing fans. I want to give a salute and appreciate you, Joe Jay Will, with the super chat vibes. He says, "Thank JSmiff and Rick for the great boxing content. We appreciate you, Jay Will. Rick, do you think that we're going to see Jerome Boost Ennis mix it up with one of the big boys in the division anytime soon? He's asking for a tune-up.
I think he's going to have to after maybe one tune-up fight because of the fact that Turkey Al Sheikh's not going to let him fight a hobo, somebody that's not real challenging, and I think the zone's going to put their foot down too.
Okay,
Don't
okay.
forget, Turkey Al Sheikh owns a percentage of the zone. He's an owner there.
But with Jerome Booth and as being a fighter that we see as so talented, I think the skill set that he has displayed is fair to say this guy's special. Why is a guy of that level asking for tune-ups?
That's what my point was. And he's a big 40, he's a big 47 going to 54. He can't make the weight anymore. What does he need a tune-up fight for? Like I said, Roberto Duran, when he went from 35 to he had a couple tune-up fights. Then he fought Carlos Palomino in an eliminator, and then he fought Ray Leonard. I get that, but he's 47, moving up to 54. Can't make for what does he need a tune-up fight for? Makes no sense. And he's not inactive.
And he's very active. What do you think about
Correct.
this kid? What do you think about this kid Xander Sayas?
I think that he's very ring smart. He's got good footwork, a good jab, and he's got good fundamentals. And hopefully, he can be champ for a while. I don't think he's going to beat a Boots Ennis, but you don't know. I mean, I think he's one of those fighters that rises to the occasion. The better the fighter you put in front of him, the better he does. I think he rises to the occasion. The guy he fought the other day was a very good fighter, just beating Charles Conwell,
Yeah,
undefeated U.S. Olympian, and he beat him legitimately. So I think that this guy rises to the occasion, and I can see him beating fighters that people wouldn't think he would beat.
I see that as well. I see that as well.
Right.
I
He's a
regard him as a
very
very good fighter.
strong. He's strong physically, even though he's not a great puncher. His
And
punching
he's a
power
he's
is
a and
greatly
he's a big
overrated.
kid. He's a
The
big kid
big kid,
too.
the big strong kid. I could see him after two fights moving up the middleweight.
Okay. Rick J. Will says, do you think Usyk is a top 10 heavyweight all time right now?
Well, I don't judge fighters on all time greatness until they're retired under normal circumstances. I don't. I just don't believe in that. But I will say on the show that yes, he's definitely a top 10 all time great heavyweight. No question about that.
Okay. And I normally do that too. Wait till they retire to see everything, the whole resume. But wow, what he's put together thus far, I think if he retired right now without another
Well,
fight, he's already there.
the most impressive thing nobody talks about. You know what that is?
Well,
He's done it on the road. He hasn't done it in the Ukraine, done it on the road in other people's backyards.
such a big fuss about guys winning on the road, and that's all he's done.
Look what happened to Ricardo Sandoval the other day. Guys in the top five in the world, he's 26-2. Got the call from Golden Boy to go fight Kenshiro Tahara, and the next thing you know is the I who Kenshiro was the in the top 10 pound for pound. He was WBA and WBO champ and went in there and beat him. Won a split decision in Japan. Went on the road and did it. Fighters can do it. This is how fighters can win and beat fighters that you don't think they're going to beat. Is preparation, a great game plan, not being scared or nervous, okay, and having a great jab and good footwork. That'll beat guys that normally don't get beat. Simple. You got the jab, you got the footwork, you're well prepared, you got a game plan, you're not nervous, you can win. The problem is, out of those five things, one of them always fails some of them, and that's why a lot of fighters don't win. But when you see a fighter winning on the road, those five things come into play. And if those five things are hitting in all 12 cylinders, you can win, and he did. Correct. 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 Hmm.
I'm gonna say something, Rick. I feel James Buster Douglas was a lot better than history has written about him. I feel like
Well,
he-
James Boxer Douglas didn't have a big heart. He had quit in several fights before Mike Tyson, so people thought he was going to fold up like a pop can against Mike Tyson. It didn't happen. And one of the fights he
like,
quit. One of the fights he quit in was against Tony Tucker. Just quit in the corner, and he was doing
yeah,
good in the fight and quit in the corner. So
yeah.
he didn't
So
have the heart.
so
But
so
the one night of his life, he stood up like a rock. Look what happened.
he had he,
I have said repeatedly on shows, I've written about it on Twitter and Facebook that that Mike Tyson was greatly overrated. That's all there
you
is
know
to it.
I think that he was. Mm, but I think that he was overrated because of discipline issues. I think he could.
I think he was
I think it.
overrated because of discipline issues, but I don't think he had a big heart. Every time he was pushed back, he didn't know what to do, and he folded up like a pop tent. Look at his losses. Yeah, yeah, but he only blew people out that were scared of him, that were afraid of him. You forgot women. Could you imagine how many times Mike Tyson got laid over the years when he was Mike Tyson? Now, come on. Oh my God, the broads he must have had. Holy shit! Oh yeah. I mean,
Good. Like that's the type of time. I don't feel like Mike Tyson reached his full potential.
oh, that's for sure. There's no question about that.
Rick, what right now, actively, can you give me what are your top three best fighters?
Well, Crawford is one of the top three best fighters. I think Inouye is, and I think Usyk is. I think
Okay,
that Shakur Stevenson would be if he had, as he goes along and has more fights, he will be.
okay,
He's that next great fighter, you know.
okay. Now, John Parham asks, Rick, what do you think about Keyshawn Davis' latest talk about stepping away from boxing? Have you heard anything about that?
I didn't hear anything about that. Um, I'm friends with some of his people. Bomac, I'm friends with. I'm friends with his agent. Um, I hope that's not the case. He has a lot to offer.
Do you think maybe he's
And
just disgruntled over what happened with the last fight that it fell through and all that?
well, he should be disgruntled with himself, not mad at boxing. You come in unprepared, there's 3.5 pounds overweight. There's issues. Not disciplined, shouldn't be in that weight class. Something's wrong. Something something's wrong. Let's put it that way to you. If I
Okay.
was to sit down with Keyshawn and be able to talk to him and see where he is, and he was to say, "What do you think, Rick?" I would tell him, "Well, you're in the wrong weight class. You can't make the weight. You're not disciplined. So did you work hard in camp?" And if Bomac said, "Yeah, he worked real hard. He really tried. Just can't make the weight. You go up to 140, one tune-up fight at 140, and then go to it. You go out and get the best you can in the division. That's all
Yeah,
there is to it."
and I think he already said that's where he's headed. Netty Net is asking you, Rick, your thoughts on Virgil Ortiz and Xander Sayas back and forth comments on social media. Do you think we could get Virgil versus Xander?
Xander's not ready for Virgil. Virgil's a unique talent. Um, he he was not at his best. I was there last August when he fought Bochuk. He was down twice. He was so confident he got sloppy and got caught twice. He wasn't really hurt. He went down, got up immediately. It wasn't like he was struggling to get up. He was more embarrassed than anything else. We saw him beat Madronov. That was a great win for him. And I think
Yeah.
he's too much fighter style wise, power, power wise for Xander, who's not a puncher.
Okay. Now,
Virgil's a special talent.
I agree, 100%. Virgil's special, and I feel like he's gonna accomplish a lot of big things. I want to
Yep.
switch gears real quick to a few of the
You
young
you don't have to
fighters
do
of
it quick.
today.
You can do it slow. You can switch gears real slow, but keep going.
Okay, let's go from first gear to second gear. I want to get into the young fighters of today. I know that you're like an oracle. You keep up with everything that's going on. You got eyes in the back of your head. You know everything that's going on in boxing. What is your personal opinion on Kermel Moton? I feel like he's a very special fighter. I want to know what you think.
I think he's a very special fighter, but he's fighting too many donkeys in a row. They're not advancing the competition. They need to advance the competition.
Okay.
What is he like 8-0 now?
I think he's 8-0. Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
he's fighting the same donkeys. He needs to just just different names on the donkeys. He needs to step up the competition. He needs to go to the next level. He needs to go to legitimate 8 round fighters instead of
And look,
fighting hobos.
here's a good question from Jay
What
Will. Why doesn't Floyd put Kermel on TV? Why is, there's been many Kermel fights that haven't even been televised. Why not?
doesn't have the TV to put him on? Where's the Floyd's got TV?
So it's as simple as that. I mean, he's a special fighter. They can put him on cards with other. I'm pretty sure if they're having a card,
Why is Golden Boy, Eddie Hearn, any of these things that use up their airtime to put Kamel Moten on? It's not their fighter. Why would they do that? They've got their own fighters to deal with.
yeah. Your thoughts on Abdullah Mason?
I think he's a great fighter as far as abilities go, as far as speed, power, and abilities. But he's been down a couple times. I don't know. He gets in with one of the real fighters who can really punch. Maybe he gets his head taken off. I don't know. We got to see, but he doesn't look like he's got a great chin.
Okay. Refugio Garcia asked you, what about TKO boxing amending or repealing the Ali Act? What's
Um,
going on with this TKO boxing?
I I I never liked the Ali Act. Okay, from the beginning, I never liked it. I thought the Ali Act should have been for identification of fighters, where you had to get a federal ID, which they did. I agree with that. I agree with them having to have an ambulance on duty and all those things and all that kind of stuff. But to tell the fighters what their gross, what the gross, what the TV money is and the gate money and this money and that money, why? The fighters are not participating in the expenses of a show. Okay, they're not participating at all. What people don't understand is boxing has a lot of hidden expenses that people don't see, which is employees, 35 to 40 at Top Rank, 25 at Golden Boy. You run these companies, you need a lot of key employees, and they're not taking in account for that. You go to
And
the
they all
you
and
if
those
you go to
and those employees, a lot of those employees have real good salaries.
correct. Yeah, correct. I know one executive that gets 600,000 a year. Okay, and there's a lot of them, but I know personally know one that's admitted to making 600,000 a year, and this is a couple years ago, so it's probably more now. Um, what do I think? I think that there's a lot of hidden expenses. You go to the WBC, WBO, WBA, and IBF conventions. If you take in all four conventions and you send two people there, it costs you about $80,000 for a promotional company just to send people to conventions. Okay, you send two people to each convention, four conventions. It's 10,000 a piece. By the time that they pay for airplane tickets, hotel rooms, they register, they buy people dinners, meals, um, lunch, breakfast. It's ten
Correct.
thousand dollars a person, and it's expensive. And they don't see that. They don't see where the night before the night before the fight, it's a WBC fight. All the WBC executives are there. You're taking them to dinner, not the judges. I'm not saying the judges and the referee or anything like that, but the president of the organization, the executive director of the organization, and anybody the BC brings with them. Not people officiating the fights. I'm talking about the executives. It's all cost money. They don't go to. They're not going to Panda Express. They're eating 3-pound lobsters and 32-ounce steaks and all that kind of happy horse shit, and oysters, and this is the way it works. It's
Hors
expensive.
d'oeuvres.
It's expensive. People don't get it. You know, when you have a boxing show, a typical show like a show tonight that Golden Boy's doing, just $50,000 a show, and expenses you don't even see.
Banners and promotional stuff that you won't even notice that.
Inviting people there that aren't necessary but are needed to a certain extent. Um, Extra travel, last minute fighter coming in because and want and it's and he wants 40,000 for a fight. The other guy pulled out was getting 25. That's another 15 grand plus last minute airplane tickets,
Somebody,
additional
somebody,
hotel
some
room. There's
somebody doesn't make
50
weight. Somebody
Right.
doesn't make weight because
There's
the other fighter
fifty
wants more money.
thousand dollars to a show that people don't even see.
Yes,
There you
sir.
go.
Um, Rick, Ned Netty is asking, does Ryan Garcia ever become a champion?
Well, I can never say never because of boxing has four champions and he could fight a weak guy and hit somebody on the chin. But I don't at this point expect him to become champion. If he does, it'll surprise me. Let's put it that way to you. But it's not a never situation.
Okay. Thoughts on Floyd Scofield?
I'm sorry.
Your thoughts on Floyd Scofield?
I was supposed to be his advisor back in 2021. They sent me an agreement and I didn't sign it. I didn't like the father's attitude. I still don't like the father's attitude. Um, I don't, I've been my own boss my whole life. I've never had a boss in business. Okay. I've never had a job where I wasn't the boss. Okay. I've never had a job. And I'm not going to have somebody tell me what to do that knows a lot less than I do about the sport of professional boxing and the business of professional boxing. So that didn't work out. I refused to sign the contract. I moved on. Um, I think Floyd is a great kid. Floyd Jr. is a great kid. Think the world of him as a person. Um, I think that he can be something in this business. I think he can beat good fighters, and I think he's explosive. And I think he's one of those type of fighters that may be like um that where you put better fighters in front of them, they fight better. He might be one of those type of guys. It motivates him. He sure came out of the box quick with there with Tevin Farmer.
Wow.
Woof.
Was not expecting that.
No,
I
he
was not
stepped.
expecting.
What really set that up is Farmer being left-handed. He stepped in and right like he was at the side, and he stepped in and then threw that right hand right over. It was all over then. He had
Landed
nothing
flush.
left at that point. It was great, great punch, great thinking on Floyd's part, fast feet, explosive punching power, and Floyd's got a great personality. Let me tell you, he's got a really good personality. He's very warm, very very friendly. Um, he's done pretty well, as
Netty
far as
Net,
as far as so far. Yep.
yeah, Netty Net is asking you, what do you think of Kid Austin burning the bridge with Turkey?
Um, I don't think he burnt the bridge permanently because of the fact that he was sick. He actually was sick. Okay, he had a super high fever. What caused it's another issue. They never found out, but he was admitted to the hospital and he had a very very high fever.
Let look. Let me throw you a little curveball.
Mm-hmm,
You know that there's in boxing, there's been throughout history, there's been many father son duels. Some of those relationships worked out, some didn't. Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather fired their own fathers, right? And
mm-hmm,
some have stayed together. Do
mm-hmm.
you think that right now there's any father and son duel where the son should consider replacing their father as a coach? And I'm talking
Haney,
about specifically, I
Devin
want to be
Haney and his
specifically
father. Devin
Devin
Haney
Haney
and
and
his
his
father.
father, T.O.
Mm-hmm.
and his father, and Floyd and his father. Out of those
No,
three, do you think anyone should make
T.O.
a
and his
change?
father. No, because T.O.'s father knows his shortcomings, and they brought in Keith Conley and Mike Breo as co managers. So he's limited to the fighting part, the training part. So no, I don't have a problem um with T.O.'s father because he realized what he is and what he's not. So he's in reality. So I don't have a problem with that. Okay. I definitely have a problem with Devin Haney and Bill Haney as far as father being the trainer. He should go have somebody else train him a long way from his father. His father shouldn't be in the camp and show up, fight week, and be the manager. That's all there is to it.
Okay. I think that part of the strategy with Bill is to promote his son with the trash talking. I think he created this
Well,
character where
that's a different story. then he should be the manager, not the trainer. That's my point.
Okay. And how about Carmel Moulton? He worked with his father. It looks like they have a real good relationship. It looks like they are laser sharp
Too
focused.
early to talk about it. But he's not. He's got to step up the competition. Okay,
But
they're hindering him right now between not getting him TV exposure, between not getting him TV exposure, and not only not getting him TV exposure, but not
he fought guy.
fighting, not stepping up the competition. Both of them are hindering him.
But I gotta say something in his favor. I think he just turned 19. I think he just turned 19 years old. So at
I know
19
that,
years old,
but that doesn't have anything to do with not fighting better competition and not getting TV exposure.
yeah, the TV.
People, Floyd Mayweather is failing Carmel Moulton. That's all there is
So
to
I'm
it.
gonna say the TV exposure thing. I've been talking about it. In fact, I posted a video saying, "Hey, look, the fans are asking for Carmel. He has a fan friendly style. Looks very similar to Tank Davis. So why is he not on TV? I don't know. The whole situation, whatever they
Because
have
he
going
doesn't,
on.
if Floyd doesn't have TV.
I mean, but something's got to be done because this kid,
Well,
even though listen, even though he's
Floyd's got to
not.
go to another promoter and say, let's be partners on this kid, and get him the TV exposure, and let's do this. But nobody's going to put up with Floyd's bullshit, which is fighting a bunch of stiffs. So it's got it multifaceted. What would I do if I was Floyd? Tell you what I would do if I was Floyd. I would go to BLK. What's the name? What's the
Yeah,
black
okay,
network?
Brian.
No, no, not BLK. But what's the black network? The TV
BET.
network.
BET.
BET. BET. I'm sorry, BET. I would go to BET. Okay, sit him down and say, "I'm Floyd Mayweather." Okay, I got the superstar. I'd like to get 6 shows a year on BET. Blah blah blah, and start right there.
Damn,
That's
that's
what
a
I
good
would do.
idea. That's a good idea.
Floyd Mayweather's name, Carmel Moat, and build it up. You could have other fighters on there and do a whole fight show. 6 fights, 3 on TV, 4 on TV, and do something. But he hasn't done anything.
That's interesting. That's an interesting. Well, I did see Carmel in a Danny Garcia card. Danny Garcia is promoting, and so I've seen him. I guess go and participate in shows from other promoters. But Danny
But but
Garcia is a guy who worked with Floyd. I know that the
but
big
but
promoters
the,
are probably
those
not.
the press isn't going to those shows. You need to get him on major shows or develop your own shows where he's the star, like on BET or something like that.
Okay.
That's all there is to it.
What do you think is going to happen if Carmel Moulton and Zaquin Moses meet down the line? Zaquin Moses, that's Shakur Stevenson's cousin, who faced him in the amateurs. What do you think?
It's too premature. I'm not. I can't comment on something that's 4 or 5 years away. I might not even be alive to see it.
Ah, come on, Ray. Don't say that. You're still a young pup.
Yeah, but I've had cancer already. I survived cancer. I don't know. I might not be alive, but it's too far down the road. Let's put it that way to you.
Look what Jay Will says. Carmel is pretty short. I wonder if he have problem moving up and he missed weight already. What do you think about that, Ray?
I think that it's got a good point. He's very short. Yeah, I think he may have problems in higher weight classes. I agree.
Okay. Um, he is. I think he's, if I'm not mistaken, 5'5". Um, but I say, man, the skill set that he has, he's able to make up for that height and reach. He's
But
very good at working his way on the
he's able
inside.
to make it up at this level fighting stiffs that he's been fighting the same old type of fighters. Does he beat world class fighters at that with that height, that shortness? I don't know. We'll see.
But listen to this. Listen to this. Hold on, Mr. Rick Glaser. Watch this, real quick. His first opponent was 4-0. His second opponent was 3-0. His
Who's
third
this?
opponent, and look at this.
Who?
His third, Carmel Mountains.
I
Listen,
know, but
listen to this.
they're stiffs. They're
No,
from
no,
farm. They're from the
no, no,
farmlands.
no. Listen to this. Listen to this. I'm gonna give you a prediction. I'm gonna give you a
Hmm.
prediction right now. His third fight was versus Anthony Cuba, who is 7-0. Anthony Cuba,
I know him. He's from California. I know
I
him.
promise you, he's gonna become at least, at worst case scenario, he's gonna become a top 10 ranked fighter in the sanctioning bodies. I don't know if he's gonna become a champion, but he's gonna go be highly ranked.
He's not fighting 8 round fighter, real 8 round fighters that are punching back. He's fighting a bunch of hobos.
Yeah, but that's 8 fights in. How many fighters are really facing real
But
competition 8 fights in?
that's the point is at 8-0, he should be fighting 8 rounds and 8 round fighters. He's not. He should
His
have been
last
fighting
fight.
like that 2 fights ago.
No, look, his last fight. Actually, his last two fights were 8 rounders. He just and
They
the
were
last fight
okay.
went the distance.
Okay,
He
very
went the
good. I
distance in the
didn't
last fight.
because he's not on TV. I wasn't paying that much attention.
I feel you. See, there we go with the whole situation. TV, like we're not getting, and we're not getting to witness that process of development because
Hmm.
it's not the same watching a highlight when you only get to see some moments as opposed to watching the whole fight.
Correct.
Right now, what fight is Mr. Rick Glazer excited about the most upcoming?
Well, obviously, if you don't mind me, I'm going to call it Crawford Canelo. Um, I'll be there with my wife. We're going. We're gonna take a week out of our life and go to Vegas for it.
Whoa.
Um, I'm most excited about that. I'm excited about tonight's fight on the zone. It starts at 8 o'clock Eastern time tonight. The show. I really like the Kenneth Sims Jr. Oscar Duarte fight. Both top 5 junior welterweight contenders, and should be a hell of a fight.
You
And
want
part of the reason why I don't know who's going to win. I think it's a very very interesting fight. They both have a lot of good characteristics. Each guy. So.
So I'm gonna tell you right now. I
Mhm.
I personally was not able to make a prediction on that fight. But if you want to turn yours in, I'll be happy to hear it.
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a great fight. I don't know who's going to win. Interesting, very, very interesting fight to me.
Look, I don't know who's gonna win or if it's even gonna go the distance.
Right. You're right.
It's one of those.
A great fight. I can't wait till tonight. There's no question about that.
Now yet you know it. Will we ever see him moving up? I mean, will we ever see Bam moving up and facing now yet you know it?
I don't think so. I think they're too far apart in weight. One's 115 right now, one's 122 is going to 126. Bam is only going to go to 118 next. I don't think so. No.
We won't
Can't
see
see
that
it.
fight.
No, too far apart. Too many weight classes apart.
Okay. Is there a possibility that that's a fight that people were talking about floating around? Is there a possibility that now yet you know it can go all the way up to 135 and fight Tank Davis?
No, it's too small.
Okay.
No, won't happen. Too many weight classes difference. I think the guy Junto Nakatani. I think you'll see Bam eventually fighting him. That's the fight I think they're going to make. He's huge over in Japan too.
That's a good fight. Oh, somebody was asking. I didn't read the comment. I skipped it, but somebody was asking, what do you think about Benavides versus Yard?
Complete mismatch. Horrible fight.
Benavides gonna wash him?
Yeah, it's gonna knock him dead. Yeah, Yard sucks. Yard is an ordinary at best fighter.
I want you to
Just a
tell
guy.
me. I want you to give me your opinion on two fighters,
Hmm.
young, strong fighters. Moses Italma and Teramoana Teramoana.
Who I don't know the second. Well, let's start with Moses Atuma. Great fighter. I'm very, very, very impressed. Not only is he left-handed, not only is he fast, he's super, super accurate with his punches, and I think he's gonna absolutely tear the head off of and shit in his neck with Dillian White. I think he destroys Dillian White.
Okay.
Okay, and what's the other guy's name?
His name is Teramoana. Teramoana. You gotta look him up. You gotta look him up.
Well, where is he from? What weight class?
Um, I think he's guys. Chat, is he a cruiserweight? Chat, fill me in. Big guy, big strong guy. He fought recently. I'm gonna look him up. I'm gonna look him up. But
He's a heavyweight. I know who he is. He's with Eddie Hearn.
yeah, he's with Eddie. Strong.
It's too early yet, but looks good so far. But remember, he's fighting guys that aren't punching back.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
So
Well,
let's
yeah,
see
he's
when he's
fighting at a
fighting
lower
guys
level,
that
right?
Moses Tuma's been fighting guys that have punched back already, and the other guy hasn't. So we'll see. We'll see what he does. Yeah, he's good. I've seen him fight. He's good so far.
Yeah, the
The
guy with
guy
the long
you
hair.
mentioned, Tuma, I'm very impressed with. I think he takes Dillian White's head off.
Do you think Itama is already ready for a title shot after this one?
I don't think he's ready for Usyk.
Okay. Is there anybody out there? I My answer is no, but I want to see your thought. Is there
No, the
any
answer is
heavyweight
no.
out
The
there?
answer is no. Nobody's beating Usyk of any of these guys. Now, 2 years from now, when he ages to 40 years old, Usyk, and Atum has won, 4 to 5 more, about 5 more fights. He'll be ready to beat him then, but not now.
What do you think? And this is a question from Jay Will. Are we going to get Opetayo versus Zurdo for a unification?
I'd like to say yes, but I don't know. I think that Golden Boy wants to fight. I think Zora wants to fight, but he's got this injury right now, this shoulder injury. Just had surgery on what, a week ago. He's going to be a long time before he fights again. Between the um, recovery, rehab, training camp, probably won't fight till next spring. I would say.
Wow. Oh, now so Opetayo is going to have to do something else. He's not going to have to stay inactive
Right,
waiting.
right, right. But I think they eventually fight. I think there'll be enough money for them to fight. Enough people want to see the fight. And definitely going to be an interesting fight.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. In his last fight, I felt like Zurdo looked real slow and real
He
sluggish.
looked flabby and slow, and I really think his shoulder was hurt going into the fight, and that's why he looked flabby and slow.
Okay, because I was like, if
I
he's
just
gonna
don't
look
think,
like that,
I don't think he knew it was hurt to the extent that he needed surgery.
okay, because if he looks like that versus Opetaya, I
No,
see him absolutely get
he won't
destroyed.
look like that. He won't look like that versus Opataya. Trust me, his shoulder will be repaired. He'll be 1,000%. He'll train. He'll have a lot of more time to prepare, and I think he will look the part. And I think
We'll
he
see
will
the
be
old
the part.
version of Zurdo,
The what?
the old version of Zurdo.
Instead, yeah, yeah.
The guy that's
I
gonna
think,
let them hands fly.
yeah, I think so. I
Okay.
think so. I think it's a good fight. I would favor Opataya in the fight, but it's a good fight, definitely.
Okay, I favor Opataya as well, just because even if he's gonna be at 100%, Opataya is gonna be the faster fighter. But skills wise, I think that they're right there, and it's a very competitive fight.
Hmm. Yep.
Rick, what fight would you say that we can say we can look forward to an upset? Can you give us an upset alert? Is there any of the big names, whether it's Tank Davis, whether it's Shakur, Teofimo, Devin, Boots,
Well, I
any of the
listen. As
big
far
names
as
that you
I'm
think is going to
concerned,
be upset?
Tank's retired right now because the WBA has an order out to fight Roach. So I think he's going to sit on that for a while.
But how about if they just catch us by surprise? Because I saw a video that supposedly Tank was training.
They didn't, did they? Not happening. Well, one night I hoped I was gonna get laid, and I ended up having breakfast by myself and went to bed. So there you go. It happens to the best of them. Yep. Hmm.
Like that. Handle your
Yeah.
business.
I do what I drink all the time: diet iced tea, unsugared iced tea. And that's what I drink all the time. I don't really
Well,
drink anything else.
I'm doing the orange juice without the sugar. We're trying to stay healthy out here. I want to be around for a long time.
Okay.
Rick, talk to me about. You told me that you are going to be at the fight, Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford. Like, are you gonna be? Where are you gonna be situated? Are you gonna be in a balcony? Are you gonna be?
No,
Where are you
I'll be
gonna
in
be
the. I'll
situated?
be in the. I'll probably be. I don't like sitting ringside. I sit in the second section normally. They'll be behind ringside because I don't like looking up at the ring. I want to look out at the ring. You understand what I'm saying? I don't
Yes.
want to like this, my head all night. 'Cause I look at every fight and like this all night. I want to look out, and so I'll be in the second section with my wife.
Will you be posting updates on Twitter?
No, no, not after the before the fight and after the fight. I will, but not during the fight. No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Any chance I could get you to come on live with me while you at the venue?
You mean the night of the fight?
Yep, at from the venue. Not while they fighting. I mean before the fight.
Yeah, yeah. I don't see why not. Yeah, I would.
Okay. I just
Sure,
want to. I just want to get your, that night your thoughts on the
sure,
atmosphere, what's going on in the arena. What
sure.
are you seeing?
Okay.
Yeah, there you have it, my peoples. The man, the myth, the legend, Rick Glazer is going to join me on fight night from the venue, and we're going to be talking about it. Rick, talk to me, man. What is there anybody out there that you want to give a shout out to? Anything? Any look? This is boxing for breakfast. We talking about whatever you want to talk about.
I
You're the
hope
special guest over here.
I hope Keyshawn and Davis gets his shit together. Uh, and I hope he starts gets his shit together mentally. I hope he changes his name and doesn't call himself the businessman after he blew up $1 million payday. I don't think he should call himself the businessman. That's he calls himself as his nickname. I believe that he needs to get his shit together. I think he needs to get with Bomac, and I think he needs to train, and I think he needs to get back in action. And I think that he needs to stop talking like he's not going to fight anymore, and that feeling sorry for himself and everything else.
Okay. Yeah, we've heard about, in the past he's dealt with depression, and that could be a part of it because he hasn't really been on social
What's
media
the
since.
depressing part? Going to the bank with $1 million? What's the depressing part?
I mean, he's dealt like he supposedly has dealt with depression in the past. So,
Amazing.
but he was dealing with that before he had money. He was
I don't make $1 million in a night. In the meantime, and there's nothing I'm depressed about it. Don't ever forget one thing. Be happy with what you got. Don't be unhappy with what you don't have.
Gotcha. K-Man is asking you what's next for Edwin De Los Santos.
Don't
Which, by
know.
the way, they paid him his full purse for that fight.
I know. I don't know. I don't know. I nobody wants to fight him. Nobody wants to promote him. I don't know. I don't know.
He's like in a limbo, basically.
Right now he is. He hasn't fought, and it'll be 2 years pretty soon.
Wow, that's a tough situation for a fighter.
Very, very tough. Very, very tough.
Rick, tell me what. Why is it? Oh yeah, this is something that I wanted to talk about with you. How come in other sports, let's say basketball fans or hockey fans, right? When they argue a lot about what happens inside the hockey rink or what happened inside the basketball court, right? But boxing fans, we see a lot of arguing about who makes more money, who's putting more butts in seats,
The
who's selling
reason
more.
for that is
Why?
because there's
Why?
no
Why are boxing
because
fans arguing about who puts?
there's no league, and there's no union, and it's just a different kind. It's a free for all, and boxing's more worldwide, where fighters come from all over the world. That's the other reason why. And a lot of people are heated on ethnic background, when because they're cheering for an individual athlete rather than a whole team. Those are some of the reasons.
Okay. Do you think that we'll get back to a point where fighters are focusing or where money and legacy are blending in together? Because obviously, you fight the big fights, you're going to get the big money.
Not if Al Heyman has anything to do with it, but if Turkey Al Sheikh does, it will. Yes, no
How
question
about,
about it.
okay, how about where we're not seeing a lot of shows on PBC Prime, man. I'm going to just put it to you like this. We're not seeing, it's looking like it's a shit deal. It's not looking like it was a great deal
Well,
the way that they paint.
there's no money. They pay for their own production, and PBC's got no money left. So there you go. What are you getting? Garbage.
So what do you think is going to happen with PBC?
They're the Skid Row of boxing promoters. That's what it's basically come down to.
Wow. And and that's something that we spoke about back when Crawford and Errol Spence were gonna fight. And I mentioned to you, I was like, I think Al Heyman, if he don't change something, especially that one side of the street stuff, he's gonna end up promoting in small venues with Don King at some point.
You've got to boxing's a worldwide sport. Do you have to send your fighters around the world to fight. You have to put your fighters in. Stefan Fulton wouldn't have fought in Anui if you would have listened to Heyman. He insisted on fighting. What do you call it? Earl Spence insisted on fighting Crawford. Didn't listen to Heyman. Okay, Ricardo Sandoval, Golden Boy sent him over there. One of the reasons, and he won in Japan against a legendary fighter. Part of the reason why the PBC fighters are not successful is because they're so inactive. It's like pulling a guy off the bench. How's a pinch hitter gonna do in baseball if you never play? He's got to play once in a while. Or he's not. He gets called into the game. He's not going to do shit. It's just the way it
Gotcha.
is.
Yeah, yeah, that's facts. John
Yeah.
Parham asks, John Parham asks, Rick, who you got? Clarissa Shields or Layla Ali in her prime and why?
I don't comment on women's boxing. Women's boxing to me is non-existent. Don't get involved. Don't watch. Don't make fights. Don't negotiate deals. And I don't give a fuck about women's boxing.
That was quite brutal, ladies and gentlemen. Straight from Rick Glazer. Um, Clifton Dennis. Crazy thing is, PBC has some of the best talent. And something that I was gonna tell you, Rick, you have, this roster where you have these fighters who are good, but they're all inactive. So how does the outfit survives when nobody's fighting?
They're not surviving. They're just lingering.
So what happens with these guys who haven't fought in a year and a half or 2 years? They're not getting a paycheck, but they still gotta pay rent, they still gotta pay bills. Does Al Heyman do something financially for
He
them?
used to. He used to a long time ago, but he hasn't been lately. No, I don't know what they're doing. Really, I'd hate to ask.
Oh wow. That's a very tough situation to be in, especially when you've already created this image that you're a star and you're broke and not making any money.
Correct.
Tough. Tough situation, Rick. Um, Talk to me, Rick. Anything that you want to talk about, boxing for breakfast is yours this morning.
Yeah, it's it's the greatest sport. It's the greatest sport in the world, but sometimes it's a horrible business. But it's business and the sport comes together, and on Saturday night we see, in Saturday afternoons we see great fights, and it's a worldwide sport that I really cherish. My wife loves boxing. One of the prerequisites to marry my wife was that she had to love boxing, and she loved boxing, and now she goes to a lot of the fights with me, and she just loves the pageantry, all the action, and she just loves it, and that was very important to me.
That's awesome. You
Mhm.
guys get to enjoy it together. Jay Will is asking AJ versus Jake Paul. What say you?
Oh, come on, please. AJ hit him one time, and he'd be out like a light, sleeping in front of millions of people.
Is that gonna be a real fight or is it gonna be scripted?
Fights aren't scripted. Um,
Do you
as a
think
gen-
okay? Do you think Jake Paul's all of his fights are unscripted?
Jake Paul gets knocked the fuck out if it ever happens. Dead.
Done. I mean, that's if we take into account that Tommy Fury, who's not ranked in any sanctioning body, who's pretty much like a YouTube boxer, beat him up. What's gonna happen if he step in there with AJ?
Well, he didn't beat him up. He
Didn't
did
beat
beat
him up,
him, but
but
didn't beat him
outboxed him.
up. But AJ, they don't listen. Either they're fooling themselves, they think Jake's better than he is, or they just want to get that massive payday. I don't know. I don't know what for what? To watch the guy gets fucking splattered all over the place? I mean, guy's gonna get killed.
It's gonna be
Killed.
a huge payday.
Phew. Pretty ugly.
You know what? You give me that type of money, I weigh 140 pounds. You give me 20 mil, I'm stepping in with AJ.
You'll step in there for a lot less, trust me.
Oh, what? I step in there for 50K.
What I just said, a lot less.
But we talking millions. We'll do it for the millions too. I'll be happy to do so. I tell you what, Rick. Right now, I'm inactive. I made my pro debut when I was 44 years old, so I wasn't planning on having a boxing career. Wanted to step in there and fight professionally. But at 44, I fought with a guy that was 35, a lot younger than me. Right now, I'm inactive, but if I find an opponent around my age, you're gonna see me stepping in the ring again, trading leather.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
sir. But it
I
has to be,
I
I'm not
don't
gonna
think
get in there
I
with a
don't think
young
you
gun and
should be
get pummeled.
fighting at your age. So you won't get me to you won't get me to
You're not gonna vouch, but
no.
I will say, no chance that I will step in the ring with a 27-year-old kid to get pummeled. It has to be. I'm 48. I'm 47. With a 47-year-old, two old guys throwing punches at each other. Cool, I'll do it. If not, I would have stepped back in the ring. Clifton,
Fair enough.
Clifton Dennis has a question for you.
Sure.
The Tom and Jerry complaining Turk is doing. Does he respect that? What do you think about Turkey complaining about he don't want Tom and Jerry boxing? Is that disrespectful to the
Well,
fighters
I
or good
think
game?
that I think he's right. I think that's Kurt boxing, where one guy runs around the ring, one guy can't, one guy won't, one guy can't. I mean, it's ugly. You know what? What Devin Haney did with Jose Ramirez was ugly, and there's just too many of those fights. People don't want to see. Boxing is supposed to be entertainment, and needs to be entertainment, and needs to be entertaining. And these Tom and Jerry fights, as Turkey L. She calls them, is not entertaining whatsoever.
What do you, how do you think this TKO league is gonna play out when we have they're gonna have their own belt, right? So if they're gonna have their own belt, how is that going to work out or correlate? Is if I'm fighting for that belt, am I going to have to relinquish my titles for the other for the sanctioning bodies because they
I
have
I
their
don't I don't know how it's going to work out, but they'll turn out to be 5 world championships. That's what it'll amount to.
but because he has a his own league. So what I thought was going to happen is there's going to be four titles and then a turkey belt because it's not WBO, WBC. It's basically a league, like kind of like UFC has their own UFC league.
Yeah, I think he's going to call it. Somebody said the Universal Boxing Organization, something like that. I don't know. All I do know is this. Okay, it's going to confuse the public even more. I think he should use the ring belt. Okay, is what he should do. That's what I think he should do.
My thoughts on that is that they wanted to not rely on the sanctioning bodies. And I felt like he created his own belt so that now we could just completely remove them because they're building up a roster as if they're gonna have internal fights
Boxing has
only.
boxing has a lot of factions to it. A lot of countries are involved. A lot of promoters from a lot of those countries are involved, and boxing's so big that I didn't have a problem with 4 belts. Now we're gonna get a 5th belt. I mean, everybody, you know, I mean, it's just not. They should use the ring belt is what they should do. Turkey owns the ring title. That's what they should use.
Yeah, I agree. I think they should have just stuck with that one. But do you think this league or whatever it's gonna be is gonna make a splash? Are they gonna struggle through it and then
No, they're
get
they're,
in?
they're going to do it. Listen, there's a lot of brains that are going to be behind it. There's TV brains. There's going to be boxing executives. There's going to be in-house attorneys. There's going to be people running the company and knows what they're doing. Running the events. They'll know what they're doing. They're going to hire the right people. They have the money to hire the right people. They have the connection to hire the right people. They will hire the right people.
Let me throw this curveball at you though. If I'm a
Mhm.
fighter, right, and I'm going up, I'm coming up. Do I want to go if I'm that talented elite level fighter? Do I want to pursue that green belt that I saw Ali, Hagler, and everybody else, the greatest fighters
Well,
wearing that green belt, or do I
that
want to pursue the turkey belt?
well, that's what we just talked about a few minutes ago. Legacy. A lot of these fighters don't care about legacy.
It's about the money.
Some people it is, some people it's not. Terrence Crawford cares about legacy
So, but why do people say that he's only fighting Canelo for the money then?
because those idiots think he can't win. So it's just about the bag. I wrote about it yesterday on Twitter. Take a look at it.
No, I saw it. I can't remember everything you said, but I was dying laughing because you said something like "you bastards think that he's gonna lose." I was dying laughing as soon as I read.
Right.
You little bastards don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know why, but for some reason I read your tweet and inside my head I was hearing your voice saying
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. Thank you.
it. You're welcome. Rick, talk to me, man. This boxing for breakfast episode is on you. You have the stage if there's anything else that you want to put out there because there's some videos that I am
No,
gonna
but
be
I'd love
sending
to.
you.
I would like to take more questions.
Guys, chat. Let me know. Chat questions. The floor is open for you, Mr. Rick Glazer, the man, the myth, the legend, is ready to answer your questions. There's a bunch of questions for you, Rick.
One of the things that was asked to me recently would, because I've never had a boss, and I have a good business and my business keeps growing. Would I go to work for TKO? Would I go to work for TKO Boxing? The Turkey El Sheikh Dana White situation.
If they
Um,
offer you a nice contract, would you go for it?
I think that if the people that are going to be working there are going to be the executives, I would.
Hmm.
Okay, if I like who the executives are, I definitely would. Okay, but I wouldn't go there if I didn't like the executives. I don't need a job, so um,
Would you sign a contract if you'd had to travel frequently to Saudi Arabia?
I'm not at my age. I'm not traveling frequently anywhere. I go I go to less shows this year than last year, less shows last year than the year before. I'm just
But you would go to the big fights because they're gonna ask you to go,
yeah,
obviously.
I would go to Vegas and stuff in New York City, Florida, Texas, California, but I'm not, if it, what at a guy my age and I've had cancer, when I go somewhere like Saudi Arabia, I'm down for I was in Dubai in 2022. I was down for the first 3 days I was there. So, sleeping and dragging my ass, and it's not easy.
I
It's
can't
not easy.
imagine. I can't imagine the jet lag from flying that long.
Oh, it's it's unbearable. The only thing you want to do is eat and sleep.
Oh my god! Wow.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rick Glazer is gonna be at the Terrence Crawford Canelo Alvarez fight, enjoying the show right then and there, and he's also gonna tap in with me from the venue, so we get to have a little fun with seeing what's going on over there and everything else. Rick, if you could tell me at this very moment, who would you say is gonna be the next face of boxing? We know Canelo, he's on his way out. Who's gonna take over the sport after that?
You mean of the upcoming guys? You mean?
Yes. Who's next after Canelo?
I think Xander Zayas has the personality and the looks to be a big draw, and he speaks both languages, but he doesn't have the ability to be that face of boxing. But I think he's going to be pretty big. I don't know who's going to be the face of boxing. It's a very hard question. No question about it.
I'm gonna tell you who's gonna be the next face of boxing.
Who's that?
The next face of boxing is going to be none other than Shakur Stevenson.
I don't think he fights exciting enough to be the face of boxing. I don't think he's exciting enough in the ring. If you never notice, all the fighters that have been the face of boxing have been exciting in the ring over the years. Ali, Frazier, Sugar Ray Leonard,
But if you
Roberto
look at
Duran,
Floyd, he had
Mike
his run.
Tyson, Mike Tyson. Floyd was differently unique, okay, because of the fact that he was an Olympian. His father, his uncle fought. He had already had a name before he turned pro. It's a different vibe altogether. Okay, um, and he was a great fighter, but he I think that you'll need somebody more exciting. If Shakur steps up his excitement level, where he's going to be way more aggressive and coming in and is more aggressive and more passionate about the game, I think he has a good chance. But I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to change his style up enough.
What did you think about the fight with Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda?
I was there. It was good. It was good. I thought it was a very close fight. I don't know what the judges were looking at. Thought it
But
was
as you
very
can
close
see,
fight.
he fought Zepeda for 12 rounds inside of a phone booth.
Um, yes and no, but he didn't walk forward and wasn't aggressive. He sat there and rolled and counterpunched. He's just not. He's not an exciting fighter. He's just not. I'm not saying he's not a great fighter. He is. Okay, I take nothing wrong with his ability, but it's not going to cause him to be the face of boxing. It's not. It'll hinder him from becoming the face of boxing.
But let me tell you why I think that he's going to become the face of boxing
Okay.
within the next few years. I think about when Floyd Mayweather used to fight, and this is you're going to have a good memory of this. Obviously, there was this narrative that he runs too much, that he's pity patting, that he's not hitting guys hard, that he's just fighting to score points. Then you had a whole fan base saying, "No, he runs too much. He puts me to sleep. He's too boring." And I think that Floyd's
Right, but
star power,
Floyd had. You remember, Floyd was a villain. Floyd
yes,
played the villain. Floyd played the villain well, and either people loved him or they hated him.
but that's where I was
Okay.
going with it. He started to play the villain when he transitioned from Pretty Boy to Money Man. He started wearing the Mexican hats, which people
Yeah,
saw like disrespectful.
I just don't think. I just don't think Corey Stevenson has what it takes. I think he does an ability wise as far as how great he is, but not as an excitement. And I don't think the personality either. It's a very rare thing what Floyd did.
I think that Shakur is gonna do the same. Why?
Okay.
Look how fans regard Shakur because of
I
his
think
style.
if he did, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I
And
just
look at
don't
the
think
defense.
in
Look at the
that
defense.
style endures.
But look at the defense. They're both the best defensive fighter of their respective era. They're both the guys that got hit the less. And fans want to see you get hit. They wanted to see Floyd get hit. They want to see Shakur get hit. And I think there's an appeal in people wanting to see you lose, wanting to see you get beat up. And
There's
because of that, I
definitely
think
an
that he's
appeal.
been
There's definitely an appeal for that. There's no question about it.
people want to see Shakur, because they don't like his personality and they want to see him. I've had people tell me, "I'm dying to see Shakur get his ass whooped." And this person doesn't miss a fight because he's waiting for it to happen. So I think that there is, okay, he's not knocking everybody out, he's not doing certain things, but there is that appeal of people wanting to see him get hit, get hurt,
Oh,
deal with adversity.
there's no question about that. There's no question about that. We'll see. Let's see what happens.
Let's see how it unfolds. And I say, look, I feel like Shakur, he's just a couple of big fights away from becoming the face. Like, for example, if he was to beat Teofimo Lopez, and this is not going to happen because we said Tank Davis is not trying to fight him. But if Shakur Stevenson was to beat Teofimo Lopez and right after that get Tank Davis, and then right after that get Devin Haney and beat those three guys, he'll be the face of boxing on the spot right then and there.
I think Virgil Ortiz has got a fair chance to be the face of boxing.
He does, but he has to accomplish. He hasn't accomplished it. He has to win titles. He has to.
Well, he has. Remember, he's only 25 years old.
Yeah, 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 for sure. He's
Remember,
young.
the course is about 28.
28, correct.
Yeah, Hank's like 31.
But Virgil is not going to accomplish the things that Shakur has already accomplished by the age of 28. Because by 28,
Well, you
Shakur is
got to
already.
remember he was out for 2 years with that blood illness.
Yeah, man. Yeah, almost killed himself trying to make welterweight.
Right. Hmm.
Lost a lot of time. Man, it sucks to see these great fighters have to be out of boxing for a year, 2 years, and just miss out not just on the money that they could have made, but that development process. It's on frozen until they go back.
No question.
But Shakur Stevenson, I'm telling you, Rick, Virgil is like 27. What do you think about the possibility of Virgil Ortiz and Errol Spence? That seems to be something that's being floated around.
Virgil Ortiz and Earl Spence. Earl Spence should never get near a boxing ring ever again.
Think that he's done?
Didn't we see that 2 years ago?
You
He
know,
shot. Can't walk and talk and chew gum at the same time.
I thought it was strange that after he lost to Crawford, we didn't really see him, and we still haven't really seen him just normally talking on camera, which made me believe that maybe that even may have left him with some type of neurological damage. Do you know if Errol Spence, as far as the way he's communicating and moving, is he back to
I have
normal?
no idea, but he shot. Nobody can sustain a beating like that and like he took and be normal ever again in boxing. Be at the top where he was. It's not happening. Remember something. Guys that were knocked out that came back and became champions again. Duran versus Hearns, Lennox Lewis versus Oliver McCall, Lennox Lewis versus Rockman. What happened? They were knocked out. They were doing fine in the fight. They got knocked out with one punch. Now, Duran, he wasn't doing fine, but it was only the second round. He didn't sustain a whole beating for like 9 rounds, like this guy took. This guy got the shit beat out of him for 9 rounds. It's just too. There's no way he can substantiate that
When
kind of. Yep.
we're talking about Errol Spence and Terence Crawford was a fight for undisputed, right? It was for
Hmm.
all the marbles, two undefeated champions. When is the last time that we saw an undefeated champion in a unification fight take that type of beating?
I don't think we ever have.
Never
I don't
have.
think so. I don't think so.
I think Floyd gave Diego Corrales a pretty good beating, but not to this level. But it was a pretty good beating over there too.
Right. That's true. That was in that was January of 2001, I believe. It was so that was and that other fight was 2 years ago. So there was 21 years in between those kind of beatings. It's a long time.
Yes, it's rare to see an undefeated champion take that type of beating. But I agree
Well,
with
I'll
you.
tell you the other one. I'll tell you the other one.
Which one?
That wasn't as long ago. Joe Calzaghe, what he did to Jeff Lacey.
Oh yeah. But in that one, for the first maybe 3-4 rounds, Jeff Lacey was putting hands on him. As a matter of fact, those first 2-3
You sure?
rounds,
Not the fight I saw.
no, listen, the first 2-3 rounds, he landed some good shots. That's like, okay, he's gonna be competitive, but then it just
The
turned into a
beat,
pummeling session.
right.
So because I have said, and I get flack for it, that Terence Crawford's beating of Errol Spence is one of the biggest wins of this era and one of the biggest beatings of an undefeated champion in the history of boxing. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
definitely. Definitely. No question about it. Absolutely. I'll tell you, you asked me earlier about something I wanted to talk about. A guy who should be in everybody's top 10 in the world is an only in mine is Oscar Collazo, the WBO, WBA minimum weight champion, straw weight, whatever weight call it you want to call it. He's a great fighter. He really is. He's completely dominating everybody he's fought. Completely dominating
Wow.
everybody.
We gotta show him some love. Clifton Dennis saying, ask Rick if Ryan ruined Devin and should Bill have stopped that fight. What do you think? Should Bill Haney have stopped that fight where Ryan
Absolutely.
was
Not even a question. 100% should have stopped it. He did ruin him. Yes.
okay?
Absolutely. No question. He should have stopped that fight. I would
And I have to
I was there. He was see, I'm gonna tell you why I have a problem with Bill Haney in that fight because there was three official knockdowns, but there was three more knockdowns they never counted. That motherfucker was on the deck 6 times. I was there. I saw it. And I saw it on replay multiple times. He was down 6 times. Common sense should have told you to stop the fight. I mean, what was he waiting for?
Do you think he didn't stop it out of pride, an ego thing?
Maybe lack of common sense. I don't know.
Because I tell you
I don't
what,
know.
I have a son. My son is only 3 years old, but if I'm a trainer and that's my son, I'm not letting you take that type of beating. I'm pulling the plug.
He was down 6 times. Reality should have told him to stop the fight. Forget about official knockdowns. He was down 6 times.
Is that the reason why we saw Devin Haney fight the way that he did in
Yeah,
that
he's
last
scared.
fight?
He's shot. He's scared. Yeah, scared to get hit. Yep.
Will we ever see Devin going back to that Devin Haney that we saw versus Vasil Lomachenko?
It's a mental thing, so I don't know.
Well,
Don't know.
he has a very tough opponent in Brian Norman Jr. I say he has to get that shit together by then.
Yeah, big, strong prick, Brian Norman is. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Man, that's a look, man. Brian Norman Jr. is a fight that I would not have expected Devin Haney to go for. And in my opinion, once Jerome Boost Ennis left the welterweight division, it became Brian Norman's division. To me, he's the guy who's the guy in the division.
I agree.
Teofimo Lopez, do you think he's gonna stay at 140 or finally make that jump to 147? Because he was mingling with the idea of fighting Boots. So what's going on with that?
Wherever the money is, I don't know. Wherever he thinks he can make the most amount of money is probably what he's going to do.
And then if Shakur Stevenson doesn't get the fight with Tank Davis, which we don't think he will, is he gonna make the move to 140?
Yeah, he'll make it pretty soon. I agree. Yep.
Will he go after the big guns right away, or go the Jerome Boost Ennis route and ask for
He'll
someone
go
else?
after the big guns right away because you can't make the amount of money that he wants to make fighting anything but the big guns.
Whoa! So there you heard it, my peoples. Myself and Rick Glazer agree. Shakur Stevenson, when he makes that jump to the 140 division, he's going after the big boys right away. There's no playing games. Ned Nerdy Bennett says, Rick, does Devin show signs of PTSD?
Um, I don't know him well enough to make that statement, so I don't know. Put it this way to you: whatever he received from the Ryan Garcia fight, beside the money, was not good.
Okay, understood clearly. JJ Zendejas, if Haney stops and fights, his career would be cut short. What do you think about that, Rick? If he fights, decides that he's going to trade with his opponents, is his career going to get cut short?
It might get cut short if he doesn't do it because nobody's going to pay to watch him anymore. With Turkey Al Sheik screaming no Tom and Jerry fights, he might not be fighting at all. So he's caught between a rock and a hard place. So we'll see.
John Parham says Norman hits harder than Ryan, so it's tough.
He's bigger and stronger. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. No question
Refugio,
about it.
Refugio Garcia, how good is Bakram IBF 154 champion? What do you think about Bakram
One
Mortasaliev?
strong, one strong, hard hitting guy. I'll leave it like that.
He put a
Uh,
nasty big beating on Team Zoom.
yes, he did. You don't see anybody dying to fight him, do you?
I haven't heard a single fighter saying they want to fight him.
Thank you.
And usually, you grab a title, everybody wants you. No, it seems like nobody wants his title, right? um, Movie Short Society says, nice shades, Rick. Getting that
Thank
compliment
you.
for the shades.
Thank you.
Come on, my peoples. Y'all know Rick Glazer is a stylistic guy. Come on now. So Rick, talk to me. What's today is Saturday morning. We got some fights tonight. What is your weekend looking like? What are your plans? You're always in boxing. What are your plans?
I'm gonna do a little. I'm gonna probably sleep for a couple hours, go back to bed for because it's Saturday morning, not too much, and I'll wake up and make a few calls and see if I can gather a little business. Try to gather a little business, and I'm gonna watch the Yankees play at 4 o'clock today. Um, and then I'm gonna watch the fights at 8 o'clock tonight. That's gonna be my balance of my day. Have a little lunch with my wife, and that's about it. Nothing really too dramatic. So just is what it is. Just a nice, relaxing day.
Awesome, awesome. Rick Glazer, before we get out of here, I wanna say thank you for you did it before. Join me on the show. You doing it again. We're gonna link up on fight night when Canelo and Crawford on a historic night. I get to have a little
If if
conversation.
you want to if you want to do another time at fight week, out there, for just a few minutes or something, because I'll be busy. But earlier in the week, like after like Thursday night or something like that, or after the weigh-in Friday or something, I'm glad to do it.
Yeah, yeah. We'll definitely sync up and make it happen. I'm definitely looking forward to communicating while you're there, and you can tell us what you've seen, what's your perception of the whole event. But again, my brother, I really appreciate you tapping in with me. Is there anything that you want to say to the boxing fans? Who are saying Rick, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He wasn't accurate. Is there any message from Rick Glazer himself? What do you have to say? Look, I want to see you answer directly and in full effect to the Rick Glazer hater family, which is a huge crowd these days. What do you have to say, Mr. Rick Glazer?
Well, I've been in boxing. It'll be 35 years full time. My sole and exclusive living. January 1st, it'll be 35 years. And I've got 59 clients, corporate clients, and they all can't be wrong. I mean, there's a reason why my business grows every year. I acquire more clients. I don't really lose clients unless they don't have the position that the person dealing with has the position. They retire, they move on. But I had 59 clients for a reason, and my business grew from 55 clients last year to this year 59. And I'm going to say I'm wrong. I'm a boxing insider. This is how I make my living. If you work in a warehouse or you're a welder or whatever somebody else does, I can't do what you do. Don't try to do what I do.
Look, in the comments, John Parrow says, Rick is a legend. Rick, all the respect in the world to you. I know you got your hater fan base out there. You know that I'm not one of them. I
I
know.
be honest with you. Yeah, I thrive off the haters because I defy the haters every day, and I enjoy it. It's like it's almost like it's like a fabric, part of the fabric of what makes me the person that I am. Okay, people hate me. I'm not running a popularity contest.
And you know what?
I've been vocal about Al Heyman since the beginning. And I said that. Did I say they were going to go out of business? Well, they used to do 40 shows a year and 36 shows a year. Now they're down to five last year. How many are they going to do this year? Four or five? I mean, they're out of business. They're not a player anymore. Are they existing in business? Yes, but they're just existing. They're not a player anymore. Them days are long gone. Who's signing up with PBC? When was the last time you heard somebody signing up with PBC? It's not existing.
I agree. I agree. And I gotta tell you what. I see you. You get all this hate. People talk all this shit about you. Yet I've never seen you upset about it. You engage the fan and let them know that they don't know what the hell they talk. But I've never seen you upset about all the hate you get.
One of the reasons why, um, one of the reasons why I'm the person that I am is because I don't let people bother me because they don't know what I know. If they knew what I knew, they'd be doing what I do. And if I knew what they were doing, I'd be doing what they're doing, right? I'd be working
Look
in
what
a
go get the
factory.
money.
I'd be working in a factory. I would be an accountant. I would be working in a warehouse. I would be digging ditches. Okay. One of the funniest
Look what go
stories
get the
in my
money.
life. One
Look
of the
what go
funniest stories in my life. I'm going to tell you a funny story.
go ahead.
This is going back to the 70s. Okay. When people used to dig ditches dig graves by hand before they come up with the big, you know. So it was a hot, muggy day, and these two guys were digging a ditch. I went to school with one of them, with high school. The guy was fresh out of high school. He was about 19, 20 years old. Drinking laws didn't change till 85 when you had to be 21. So they looked at each other. They said, so hot and muggy. I can't do this. Let's go have a couple beers and we'll come back. They had a couple beers. They got drunk. They never came back. The next morning, they went to put the grave. The people showed up to drop the casket in the thing, and the hole is only this deep. Okay, so the two guys get fired. The one I knew comes to me and he tells me the story. Okay, and I said, "Aren't you the same guy?" I knew what his name was. He was a friend. I was actually better friends with his brother. Aren't you the same guy that told me you were an expert on digging ditches in the for caskets in a cemetery? That you were an expert on this field? He says, "Yeah." I says, "Well, then how come you didn't? How come the grave was only 6 inches deep?
6 inches? What the hell is that?
6 inches deep because they had left." So what I'm trying to tell you is that everybody has expertise at something, some form of expertise to be successful. This is my field. This is what I do. This is what I do every day. People call me. This is a Saturday morning, but if you asked me to do this on a Monday morning, I couldn't do this, or Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning, because those are the busiest days of my weekend. I get a million phone calls. People aren't calling me because I'm stupid. People are calling me from all over the world because I know my business. And the people that sit at home and watch boxing on TV, I love you. I respect that. Listen, I started out as a fan, okay, but I realized boxing instantly was a business, and I studied the business for 20 years, from 71 to 91. And I was a kid when I was 12 years old, all the way up to my early 30s, and I entered the boxing business. And I realized the sport and the business were completely two different things, and it is. Okay, and I know my business. Okay,
And look,
you
what
know
go
what
get
the
the money
hooker said?
says to
You know
you.
what the hooker said to her customer?
What?
Stop! Stop pulling on my ears. I know my business.
Look what go get the money says to you. We need haters in this world, Rick. That will help make the world go around.
Yeah, it motivates me. The haters motivate me. They make me the guy that I am. It makes me live. It makes me um try harder. It makes me be the person that I am. I mean, I just I'm just one of those type of people that are very rare. I can deal with the haters. I mean, I can be a cold, callous guy at times, and I admit it. But the people that don't hate me love me. That's why my wife says some 50% of the people want to kiss you on both cheeks, and 50% of people want to put two behind your ear. So, but here,
But I think people get more upset because you don't get upset. So I think that's more annoying to them too.
yeah, probably, but I can't stop them from hating me, and I'm not looking to stop them from hating me. I just want to educate the people on the sport of boxing, the business of boxing, and Um, that's what I enjoy doing as a hobby. It's my going on social media is my hobby, and I want to educate people. They're spending money to watch boxing, and I want to educate people, and not only the sport but the business of boxing. And I think it's important that they know. I'm not talking about fluff piece and how wonderful such and such a fighter is, or these stories that he came from nothing and he's risen to the top and ba 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 rah rah rah. I'm not a rah rah guy. I'm a reality guy, and you get the bare naked truth with me. And just the way it is. It's my personality. It's how I make myself. I love having haters. It's fun. It really is.
It's part of it, and I think it's part of the reason why you are so popular within the boxing community. I think, in fact, I think that the
I don't think
reason.
popular is the right word. I think for well known. Popular is means they like me. No,
Well,
I
you.
think it's more well known is what you mean.
No, I would say no. I mean popular because
Okay.
because it's very very hard to find a fan of boxing who doesn't know Rick Glazer. So therefore, that definitely is popularity. I don't know a boxing fan that I can say the name Rick Glazer and will say I don't know who that is. So
Well, Don King said it best to a guy once, and he said he was in the professional boxing business. He says, "Well, let me talk to my man Rick Glazer." He says, "Who's that?" He said, "You don't know Rick Glazer?" He says, "No." He said, "Then you're not in the professional boxing business." So
there you
there you
have it.
go.
JJ Zendeja says, "Just be you, Rick, and people will stay or leave." John Power
I
says, "Rick gives two fucks. I respect it."
Yeah, it's just it's great. I do care that I have haters because I need the haters to hate so I can show become better and better all the time. So I
And
do care that I have haters. I
look
enjoy
what
that. I enjoy
look
it.
look what Go Get the Money says. Rick, remember, nobody hate the good ones. They hate the great ones.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard that before. I appreciate that. Thank you. I've been called everything from a legend to a no good cocksucker. Somewhere in between is the
And
truth.
everything in between.
Yeah, but somewhere in between is the truth.
I actually was talking to one of your haters who was hating on you, but giving you credit at the same time, if that's even possible. This
What was that?
this is a hater. This is what the hater told me. He goes, you know what? Rick Glazer, he's a piece of shit. But yeah, he does know his stuff. I'm like, what do you mean? He know his stuff and he's a piece of, what are you talking about? So he thinks you're a piece of shit, but you know your stuff.
I don't know. One guy, one guy sent me a message on Facebook one time, um, and I didn't even know him. And he says about follows me on Twitter, but he follows me on Twitter. He says, "I hate you. I hate you. I have nightmares about what you say, but I have to admit, you know boxing." I said, "Oh, so fuck,
He's like,
Jesus."
"Hey, I hate you, but I'm gonna have to admit that you know your shit."
Yeah, I mean that's a great compliment. One guy said about me once, he's a no good bastard. I don't like his personality. He's a creep, but he knows boxing. Roger Mayweather talked about people didn't know shit about boxing. He said Rick Glazer, he knows boxing. So
There you
it's
go.
just it's just something that I studied it for 20 years before I entered the business. It's important to note. When I started in the business, people were saying, I never heard of you, Rick. He said, I just started. He goes, nah, you know too much. You're too smart. I said, well, I did study boxing for 20 years. I educated myself about boxing. Didn't know anybody in the business. So just educated myself. It's what I did. And I created a niche for myself in boxing. And I enjoy it. Love it. Love boxing. Love, I don't feel anything different about boxing today as when I did 35 years ago. I'm not burnt out. I just wish we made more bigger fights and we didn't let them marinate. There's too many tune-up fights, and these fighters should be fighting. Shakur should have fought, and oh my God, I mean not Shakur. I mean Tank should have fought in Shakur already. This guy, that guy. Come on, give it up. You know what I mean? I mean, admittedly, Joshua Fury, they've been in the biggest fights. So I have no complaints with them. There's a few fighters that need to fight people and step it up. And Tank would be one of them. But for now he's going to be retired. How much longer? I don't know. I think maybe once he runs out of money or Roach announces a fight with somebody else at 130 or something like that, or just announces another fight, then maybe Tank will come out from under the hiding. That's basically what he's doing.
How about if the rematch clause expires, which usually after a
Yeah,
year, does he
that's
just
what
wait for it to expire and
that
come back?
yeah, yeah. But what about the WBA with the they mandated a rematch, so he's got to wait for that to expire, or they got to drop it or something. Who knows? We got to see. But for now he's retired.
There you have it, my peoples. You heard it from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Rick Glazer. Tank Davis retired. Tank Davis retired. You're gonna have to accept it.
Well,
um,
listen, I don't know what's going to happen first. He runs out of money, or gets smart. You know, I don't know, but I think he's dealing with some mental issues too. I think the elevator's not going to the top, and I feel bad for him for that. I'm not a tank. I don't like the guy. I don't care for the guy. I should say, and I think he's overrated. But I don't wish him anything bad. Um, I think he's got some issues. I mean, beating up your woman 4 times, your baby mama, your mother, your children. I think that right there tells you all you need to know.
I feel you. I feel you on that. Clifton Dennis is asking if you know Joanil Hernandez. Is he a special fighter?
Who?
Joanil Hernandez, young fighter. Have you heard
The
of him?
Cuban?
Yeah.
He's very good. I don't know how good he is yet. Too early.
Okay.
Too early. Looks good. Looks good.
I feel you. Is there
They
any
all
young
they all look they all look like Sugar Ray Robinson. Somebody's getting so they're getting hit back in the back in the face. Don't ever forget that.
Yeah,
That
that's the thing that
that
you can look
changes
really
people
good
real.
with lower level
That changes
competition.
people real quick.
You can look really
Yep. Yep. Just want you to watch on the Zone tonight. It's starting at 8 o'clock Eastern time. It's going to be a great main event, presented by Golden Boy from Chicago. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at real Rick Laser 1. I have about 14,000 some followers. There's a lot of fake Rick Laser accounts out there, but mine's a verified account.
there
Okay,
you have it. My peoples. Y'all already know what it is, man. Rick and I, we getting the hell out of here. We gotta enjoy our Saturday and watch these fights tonight. We out here.
enjoy.
Salute.
Thanks for
Rick
having
Laser.
me. Thank you. Bye bye
My
now.
pleasure, my brother. Peace.